Now that you've had a chance to try the Goose Chase yourself, let me take a few moments to talk about the program, how to create games, and then also how I use them in my physical education class. Now, I have no affiliation with Goose Chase. I just like their program, so I'm not in any way getting any kickbacks or anything from this. Here's kind of the options they have for educators. And so you can go the free route. And on the free route, what you'd have to do is you'd have to split your class into 5 teams, and then those 5 teams would break up into groups of 2 or 3 per mobile device, and they would join on. And so it's totally doable with the free version. You're just going to have larger groups, no big deal, and you can only run one game at a time. You can look at the Educator Plus version, which for most schools, this would work just great. The nice thing is about having unlimited live games is that you can have multiple teachers using the same account at the same time. And so you really only need one license for your department. You don't need to have one per person. And then just kind of depending on what you need are the different pricings. But I know with my school district, it was no issue getting the money each year for a subscription because the price of that for a lot of programs is relatively reasonable. And for how often we use it and how much it gets the students engaged is really great. Once you've logged in, creating a game is really simple. You'll just click on the new game, and then you'll type in the game name. And then you'll put in a game description. And once that's done, you'll click the Save and Continue button. And then we have our missions. And what's kind of nice is you can go and create your own missions by adding your first mission here. You'll go Add Missions to List. Once you've added that mission, new mission, you'll go and type in a name such as the 5 components of fitness. And then you can say, what are the 5 components of fitness? Add that question there, and then you have a choice here. You can have whether they want a text submission, whether it's GPS or it's a photo or video. So we're going to do a text submission. We're going to do a point value here. And then if you want to go and put it where it has to be like A, B, C, and D of options, because you can put a multiple choice up in here where A would be one answer, B, C, or you can just have it open. And there's some other advanced settings down here, which is kind of nice. So one advanced setting is whether you want it hidden in the feed or shown in the feed. And so what's important about that is that if it's shown in the feed, all students can see everyone else's answers. If it's hidden in the feed, then only the teacher can see the answers. So for my classes, I normally keep everything hidden in feed for just kind of privacy's sake. And so it's hidden in the feed. If you happen to want it to be a photo or video submission, you can choose whether you want it to be just photos or just videos or both. So that's kind of nice too. But we'll change this back to a text submission, and then you're going to save the changes. And if we want to go, we can add another mission to our list. We can go to our mission banks, which would give you the company's different ones that they've had, and there's different options of what you want. Or you can go to your previous mission. So I can select a game that I've done before. So we're going to do Holiday Fun 5. And now I can search missions, or I can take ones that I normally already have done. And so what's kind of nice is if we want to add this mission, we just would click the add button in, and I know I can just add whichever ones I want. So the 3 I added in, let's go back to our mission list. I kind of like this little bit of protection just to remind my students that they're going to write their names in here, so I know, because I normally have my students, we'll talk a little bit about this later, in groups of about 3 per one device on a team. And so that I have their names on them. It also has a technology agreement, and so that the students know that, yes, although they're using their cell phones, that the rules still apply, and that the videos and stuff that they take in class are for in class only, and they shouldn't be sharing them or posting them anywhere. And then I go and use their special cone, and so I give everybody an orange cone, and then that's their tripod for the day. And so whenever they need to set it down to show the group something, they just set the cone down, set their phone on top of the cone, and then it just films them like a tripod. And so we always do that. And I like labeling them 1, 2, and 3 so we know where they are. Once you've created all the missions you want, you can choose how you want them ordered. So you can order them by alphabetically random. You can custom drag them, drop them, which is kind of nice to do. And that way, if you want this one to be up first or second, you can kind of move them around however you want. And so you have that option of how when the students go to it, they can see the order of them. Let's go to game script. So one thing nice about this is we can set it to start things at a certain time. So we can add an automation. So if I have the automation name called start, and the action is going to be message to all participants, and I'll say the game has started. Oops. And I can say when that happens, that it happens at the start of the game, and I create. And then I can also add an automation that says end. I'm gonna send a message to everyone, and it'll say, come back to the gym now. When it happens at the end of the game. And so now I have little messages that says, hey, the game starts, go, and you can say whatever you want on it, or when it ends, come on back. And so that's great. And then to actually start the game, you have a couple options. One, you can set it for a specific time to start and end. Or the other thing you can do is you can put it manual, and then you'll just click start game when you want to start. And when things are time to wrap up, you can go and click the end game. So you have your choice whether you want it to start at exact time. So if you wanted it to start like at a certain time when class started, then you can just set it for that bell time. Or you can go and start it when you feel like it's ready. There's some options you have once you have a game. So this is my son's his fifth birthday party. And what I can do is I can click on the activity feed, and it'll show me like what's most recently been submitted, which is kind of nice. You have the leaderboard. And so you can go and look at who's in first place. And if I clicked on Cool Cats, I'd see all their submissions. And then you also have the submissions button, which will separate everything out. Here's a little picture of one of my class games, the Holiday Fun. And this is what it looks like on the submission hub. So I could see that there are 11 submissions for their names, 10 for a technology agreement, 10 for getting a cone and taking a picture of it. And so if I wanted to go and see everybody's cones, I could click on that. And then if I wanted to look at everybody, see what they wrote down for the technology use, you could click on that, and you can go down there and you can go and make sure and see that everybody has the answers you want. So it's really nicely organized. A couple of tips on managing your games is once you've run a game, I like to go and delete that game, but first make a copy of it. So you can see right now I have a copy here, and it's really simple to do. You'll just go and duplicate the game. And so once you duplicate the game, you can then name it whatever you want, and it'll make it as a copy. And then you can delete the old one. And that way you have all those missions, but available to use. You can do that game again and modify it. I also do this for each period. And so what I like doing is making a copy and then running a first period. And after first period, I will go and make a copy of that and call it second period, and make a copy of that and call it third period. That way all my submissions stay separate. And then I can just look at each class as one versus just starting and stopping the game and having all my students on one final feed at the end, which is a little overwhelming. So those are a couple of tips to help manage it and make it a little bit more easier to look at the data and see what results are. A few tips I'd like to share that I've learned while using in my physical education class is first the number of students. I like 3, and I like 3 for a couple of reasons. One, it keeps this group small enough so that they're really engaged. And the second thing is that not every student has permission to download apps or to use their cell phone or want to use their cellular data in class. My school has pretty good Wi-Fi, and so often they're on the Wi-Fi network, and so they don't need to use cellular data, but you need to be aware of that. And it needs to be optional. And normally by having groups of 3, then you're able to make sure that students are using the phone with permission, and you're not going to have any issues with that. The second thing I like to use is that little cone. And by giving each student a cone, then they set it there and they use it as a tripod. What we don't want is that one person's recording the entire group doing stuff all the time and then they're not moving. So I even tell them, like, hey, if you're doing squats and you're filming the group while you're doing squats and the camera's going up and down, like, that's totally cool. I want everybody doing everything the entire time. So as long as the whole group's moving, even if the film doesn't look great, I'm happy. Also, to keep the submissions hidden in feed is we just don't want students to have access to other students' photos and pictures, because we all know with social media and everything, it just can cause some problems. So by keeping everything hidden, then you know students are only going to have access to the photos that they personally take. And you saw with my user agreement, I even go over the fact that, hey, those aren't supposed to be shown anywhere. Also, make a copy of each game and then rename it for the next period. It keeps the organization really nice. I didn't show you GPS, but GPS is kind of fun, but it does take some definite playing around with. And so normally I'll set like a GPS point in the very corner of the field, and then students have to get to that corner to get to that range around it in order for it to count. And so if you want to get them like spread out and running all over the place, the GPS is fun. It just, sometimes I have to like try 3 or 4 GPS points so I finally find like the right exact location that will give me access. In the physical education classroom, you can use this for so many different things. One, they can just be practicing skills. And so this could be a fitness skill, or it could be a different type of movement skill. You could have them throwing with a lacrosse stick, a lot of different things. It provides fun-related fitness challenges, and you can go and just have a whole bunch of sorts of fitness challenges. So it's just a great activity. In addition, you can review content, and I like to use it a lot. I like to mix in whatever concepts I'm teaching cognitively and physical into a Goose Chase so that they're doing both of them. And what's nice about them being in groups is that when one student doesn't know the answer, then the 3 of them talk it out to try to figure it out. And if they really get stuck, then they come to me or they come to another group, but they have to get that information to move on. It also reinforces knowledge concepts. Great way to have them really think about why are they doing stuff and what it is that they're trying to learn. Whether it's a skill related or fitness related concept, it really doesn't matter, but it's a great way to ask those questions. I like to provide SEL reinforcement in it. Not only are they working in a group, but some of the challenges are to give a compliment or to go up to me and give me a high five after they complete a challenge, or go to another group and say something. And so you can work in positive social emotional learning into the challenges. The best thing about it is it gamifies. The students love it. If you just say, go over there and do 20 squats and then 10 push-ups and then show me how to do a bicep curl correctly, they aren't so into it. But when it's a game, they tend to find it much more fun. And if I tell them, well, if I look at the submission and you didn't do it properly, you aren't going to get credit, it kind of keeps them a little bit more honest. And the most important thing about this is they're learning, they're active, they're engaged, and they're having fun. My name's Jennifer Mettler. My email and my Twitter is up there. I hope this answered your questions about Goose Chase and you feel inspired to go out and create some fun, exciting challenges for your students. Thanks so much for listening.
Thank you for watching this session from EPEW 2020. We're saving the next few minutes for you to ask those final questions before we log off. If you have any questions afterwards, please reach out to the presenter or send a message to EPEW through our website.
Don't forget that we have more amazing sessions going on. Head over to our website, epew-cp.weebly.com, and look for the virtual EPEW 2020 tab.
You can also access the presentations on YouTube by typing in the hashtag EPEW 2020.
We'd like to thank the amazing EPEW committee for all their hard work over this past year. This event would not have been possible without their dedication, commitment, and volunteering their time to providing high-quality professional development.
Don't forget about our other events like our socials and share times. Links can be found on our website.
Remember our motto for EPEW, come to learn, leave as family. Thank you for joining our family today.